$1 million fund to boost local oil and gas services and sport. Nigeria wins para volleyball gold at West Africa Games. The news in 4. Kano State Governor Abba Kabiru Yusuf has announced plans to deploy drones and additional logistics to strengthen surveillance and rapid response operations in border communities vulnerable to bandit attacks. The announcement follows recent coordinated attacks in Sanyawa and Shanono local government areas where residents have faced increasing security. Governor Yusuf made the disclosure during an inspection of Joint Task Force personnel at their 3 bases along the Kano-Katsina border. He urged residents to provide actionable intelligence on bandit movement and said President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had pledged federal support after being briefed on the situation. The governor also tasked security forces with intensifying efforts to rescue residents who have been kidnapped in the affected areas. During his visit, Governor Yusuf met families of abducted victims, assuring them that those taken would be safely returned. He promised welfare support for frontline security personnel and emphasized that the state government is committed to addressing the surge in security or insecurity through enhanced cooperation with security agencies. Recent attacks reportedly left between 5 and 10 people kidnapped while 1 woman was killed. Moving on. A new phase of the Scope Africa project aimed at boosting port security and strengthening regional cooperation in West and Central Africa has been launched in Lome. The initiative was introduced during a 2-day seminar led by Togo's High Council for the Sea, whose Chief of Staff, Pen Larry, stressed that securing maritime areas requires collective action and builds on more than a decade of regional collaboration. The project focuses on improving compliance with international standards, enhancing risk management, and training port stakeholders with an emphasis on inclusion. Its launch comes at a time when nearly 90% of Africa's trade moves by sea, with port traffic expanding by about 7% each year. This growth exposes key infrastructure to risk ranging from industrial accidents and illicit trafficking to environmental pressures and instability in surrounding regions. Funded by the EU and implemented by Expertise France and Enabel, Scope Africa will support 10 strategic ports including Lome, Dakar, Abidjan, Lagos and Douala. The long-term goal is to ease trade flow, secure important corridors and deepen regional economic integration. Meetings in Lome will define operational needs and include a visit to the autonomous port of Lome, a major hub in the Gulf of Guinea. Meanwhile, CAMTEL, Cameroon's state-owned telecommunications operator, will enter the country's mobile money market next year with a new service called Blue Money. The plan, confirmed by the Minister of Post and Telecommunications, Minetli Lee Liking, marks CAMTEL's late entry into a sector already dominated by MTN mobile money and Orange Money and recently disrupted by US fintech wave. Legal documents show Blue Money begins with a capital of CFA 500 million, with John Mari Aime Otu appointed as board chairman to lead the rollout. The launch comes as a competition intensifies in the market where MTN and Orange control more than 80% of electronic transactions, while Wave's low-fee model continues to attract users nationwide. CAMTEL hopes to leverage its extensive fiber optic network and long-standing rural presence to expand financial inclusion and secure a share of the fast-growing digital payment ecosystem. Analysts say pricing, ease of use, service reliability and network distribution will be decisive in determining whether Blue Money can shift consumer habits. Despite the crowded field, growth prospects remain strong. Data from the Bank of Central African States show mobile money transactions in Cameroon have surged in both volume and value since 2019, making the country the CEMAC region's leader in digital payments. With mobile money now one of the most dynamic parts of Cameroon's financial sector, CAMTEL's ability to offer a competitive and trusted service will determine whether Blue Money can stand alongside established market leaders. And Sierra Leone has launched a REDSALT angel investment network known as RAIN and signed a framework agreement with the Ministry of Communication, Technology and Innovation to co-fund early-stage startups. Announced on December 1, the partnership is designed to unlock capital, strengthen governance structures, and support scalable local ventures. RAIN has also partnered with the Orange Digital Center to provide mentorship, investment readiness support, and early-stage financing for founders, speaking At the launch, Minister of Communication, Technology and Innovation Salim Ba said the initiative builds on the country's digital transformation efforts, which are supported by national frameworks including the National Innovation and Digital Strategy and the 2024 to 2030 Medium-Term National Development Plan. Since 2018, Sierra Leone has established institutions such as the Directorate of Science, Technology and Innovation and MOCTI to accelerate innovation and modernize industries. The new network complements the government's broader strategy to strengthen the startup ecosystem through measures like the Sierra Leone Innovation Investment Fund, a blended finance vehicle aimed at mobilizing capital and improving infrastructure. While the launch of RAIN reinforces Sierra Leone's commitment to an inclusive digital economy, report notes persistent challenges such as regulatory uncertainty, weak institutional coordination, limited investment pipelines, and gaps in connectivity, skills, and market access. Addressing these barriers will be key to realizing the country's innovation ambitions. Let's pause now for a break. The news continues on the other side.
Democratize generative AI. Generative AI, which creates new content like text, images, or music, is becoming more accessible. This trend is enabling businesses and individuals to leverage powerful AI tools without needing deep technical expertise. Tools like DALL-E are already transforming marketing, entertainment, and design. However, as generative AI becomes democratized, concerns about copyright infringement and misuse of content are rising.
Although investment figures and production capacity were not disclosed, the initiative also supports the development of batteries, electronic systems, and wider energy storage solutions. Hisense Automotive added that the plan includes building a clean ecosystem based on battery recycling for Tunisia and Africa. YJT Power highlighted Tunisia's strong industrial infrastructure, skilled workforce, and strategic location as key advantages for establishing a regional innovation hub. Founded in 2016, the company focuses on renewable energy technologies, producing storage systems for homes, businesses, industry, and electric vehicles, along with cloud-based platforms for energy data management. And now in health. The Executive Director of the National Primary Health Care Development Agency, Dr. Mui Aino, says reducing Nigeria's high maternal mortality rate remains the federal government's foremost health priority. Speaking at the 2025 National Health Dialogue in Abuja, he noted that President Bola Tinubu has directed the sector to focus on cutting maternal deaths and improving outcomes for mothers and children. He said data shows maternal and under 5 mortality remain Nigeria's most urgent health challenges. Aino explained that the federal government is implementing the Maternal and Newborn Mortality Reduction Innovation Initiative, which has enrolled nearly 500,000 pregnant women and followed more than 41,000 through delivery. The program identifies pregnant women in their communities and ensures they attend antenatal care, receive ultrasound scans, and are booked for delivery based on risk assessments. He said 4 emergency cesarean sections are available for women who need them, adding that antenatal attendance have risen by more than 22% between the second and third quarters of 2025. He highlighted long-standing issues such as poor access to basic care, erosion of trust in primary healthcare services, and shortages of skilled health workers. Aino said the government has completed 2,125 additional primary healthcare facilities in the last 18 months, and states have recruited over 13,000 community-based health workers and more than 1,100 skilled birth attendants. More than 70,000 health workers have also been trained through digitized programs. He added that service utilization has doubled to about 47 million quarterly visits as efforts continue to expand and digital systems strengthen vaccination campaigns and rebuild public confidence. In business now, Nigeria has launched a $100 million fund to strengthen local service companies in the oil and gas sector, reaffirming its target of reaching 70% local content by 2027. The Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board announced the facility as part of a national strategy to expand the role of domestic firms in an industry long dominated by foreign contractors. Developed with the Bank of Industry, the fund will provide equity financing to high-potential Nigerian companies to improve their participation across the value chain. The initiative supports the country's 10-year roadmap adopted in 2017, which seeks to build national skills and reduce dependence on foreign expertise where local capacity exists. The board said it will intensify oversight of oil and gas projects, verify compliance based on evidence rather than declarations, and continue capacity building efforts for Nigerian firms. It also emphasized the need to strengthen transparency within the system beginning January 1, 2026. The board will introduce a mandatory certificate confirming payment of the statutory 1% contribution to the Nigerian Content Development Fund. The certificate will then be required for all permits and authorizations in the sector, a move aimed at improving traceability, curbing false claims, and reinforcing accountability. The broader drive for higher local content has institutional support, regulators citing recent gains from 56% to 61%, driven by major projects such as NLNG, Train 7, the AKK, etc. And now in sports. Nigeria has won the para-volleyball title at the inaugural West Africa Zone A and B games in Abeokuta, Ogun State, defeating Ghana 3-0 in the final. The team had earlier opened the competition with another straight set victory, beating Niger Republic 25-13 and 25-20, 25-22 in a tough opening encounter. Against Ghana, Nigeria dominated from the start, taking the first set 25-10, the second 25-6, and sealing the win with a 25-16 finish. The victory secured Nigeria's unbeaten run and confirmed their status as champions of the maiden regional competition. President of the Para-Volley Federation of Nigeria, Kayode Ladele, said the triumph reflects the board's commitment to developing the sport across the country. Technical Director and Head Coach Priscilla Agara praised the players and credited continuous exposure to international competitions for strengthening the team's performance. That's all we have for your Nigeria TV News updates. Before we go, a recap of the headlines. KANO governor deploys drones to boost border security. Western Central Africa Port Security Project launched in Togo. CAMTEL to enter Cameroon's mobile money market in 2026. Sierra Leone launches REDSALT Angel Network to co-fund startups. Away from Africa, China's YJC power to build electric vehicle battery plant in Tunisia. In health, Nigeria intensifies drive to reduce maternal mortality in business. Nigeria unveiled $100 million fund to boost local oil and gas services. And in sports, Nigeria wins para-volleyball gold at West Africa Games. Do not forget to follow us across the different social media platforms at Idea TV. I am Chinatu Oji. Thank you for your time.